What's going on, guys? It's Fear Turbo here today, and we're going to talk about my PvP Magicka Sorc build, the Infernal Moon. This build is going to be a group-focused build. Your team party wants about 4 to 8 people with, healers and tanks and whatnot, and damage dealers. So let's go over the build. Starting off with the gear, we're going to go with 5 Vicious Death. I tried Infused, I've tried Divines. I just really like Impin because it makes you really tanky. When people are trying to get on you, they know you're the damage dealer. So I know you can't crit shields and whatnot, but man, there's some real high burst, and shields aren't going to save you sometimes. This Impin will definitely help. We're going with 4 body pieces and then 1 staff. We're doing the weapon damage and spell damage glyph. We want maximum damage, so we're doing that on both bars, along with sharpened as the trait. A lot of people ask me why not lightning because of implosion, and really a 6% chance when they're under 15% health. If they're under 15% health, they're most likely dead from my mages or endless fury. So we want to use the fire damage because I'm a dumber, and because people are vampires in PvP. So if we can get them to where they can get 20% damage or 20% health for my endless fury, then we no longer need the extra proc implosion. They're pretty much dead. This build is extremely strong. We have 2 5 pieces, and the way we run this is we run 4 and 4, and then the weapons swap between the 2. So on our back bar we have 5 Moon Dancer, so we have 3 jewelry, 1 pants, 1 armor, and then 1 restoration staff. Restoration staff is our back bar, so we have like our defensive bar. You can have defending, decisive, infused. Preferably defending for all situations, but if you're really solid within your group, probably infused, so you can proc a higher weapon or spell damage enchant. And so we want to use the 5-piece on our back bar, so we can proc a synergy. So throw me a shard real quick. So you see in the top right of my screen, it shows a cooldown, and I got regen. So I have this regen, and we're going to use Empowered Ward and a pot. I have now this regen on both bars. So throw me an orb, and let's see if we can get spell damage. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Oh my god, I was on the wrong bar. Alright. We'll have to wait. Throw me a shard, I can use the shard now. Oh, regen again. Rip. Yeah, throw me another one. Alright, so we got spell damage. So we got the spell damage on the front bar as well. So this back bar makes this defensive and offensive. So now we have 3,274 spell damage, and we had like 2,700 spell damage. The reason for this, we'll wait as this buff goes out. The Sorcs have such a high scaling spell damage. It's insane because they have a passive. So see, look, I gained that much spell damage. That's without my enchant proc and without group buffs like minor spell damage from Templars or spell power cure from a group member. And the reason why we scale so hard with spell damage is they get a passive. Each Sorc ability slotted gives you 8% spell damage, or 2% spell damage. My current value is 8. I have Streak, Crystal Frags, Endless Fury, and Bound Ages. So I'm getting a whole butt ton of spell damage right here. So the next 2-piece, you can use any 2-piece here. You want to use 5-1-1 for your armor, so 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy. So you could have Impin here as well. I have infused. I actually like infused the health because I need a good bit of health. Right now I have 18k. I put some points in health, so you get 5k extra. while in PvP. But you can pretty much use any 2-piece, guys, because I mean you can use Bloodspawn for extra ult gen, or Balkan Scoria for your ultimate dot. You can use Engine Guardian if you're having problems with sustain. Lambrus is a little tricky, although it's kind of cool, but it is a little tricky because once it procs, it stays in that spot. So we got two 5-pieces and a 2-piece, and we want to use synergies to proc spell damage or regen. Both are very good. You can kill people, lots of people. In my hype trailer, I was using a different setup, and I didn't even have this extra spell damage, and you just saw how fast I ripped people. Now just believe when I get that extra spell damage how much harder I'm going to be hitting. And another thing to combat your resource sustain is, so we have a third bar here. We use Overload on our back bar. We have Dark Conversion, so we change stamina into Magicka. So what happens here is I'm going to do a couple of these. Actually, hang on. Let's see. I'm going to get my Magicka kind of low. Alright, throw me a shard. I proc the synergy, and it procs, you see in the top right, guys? Even though I'm over my overload bar, I can proc Moon Dancer. So I got spell damage synergy, and look at my stats. You see that? So I got the spell damage proc on the overload bar, which we're on Moon Dancer, along with using his synergy, which is the shard synergy, to gain stamina back, and I pre-converted the stamina into Magicka. So that's a good way to really manage your resources, is getting the synergy to proc the set, having that synergy be a shard so you can convert stamina into Magicka. So that's one way to help sustain, especially if you keep getting spell damage procs, which is big damage. So let's go over the skills and which ones I use. So Streak, we want to use Streak. It's so good. I mean, we pop ultimate. Streak allows us to get in and get out. Crystal Fragment. Crystal Frags hits, like, you only want to use this when it procs, and it hits super hard. You want to use Endless Fury. Basically, when you go in, you pop ult, you streak, and then you go in there and you pop Endless Fury on the lowest target. You're scanning the area, and you're popping your Endless Fury on the lowest target, okay? Because this is another way we're going to sustain. This is another way we're going to kill people and proc Vicious Death. So when I hit someone with Endless Fury, it doesn't do very much damage until they're under 20. When they're under 20, it hits them for a ton of damage, and it also has an AoE. If I kill them, I get 4,417 Magicka back. This skill costs 1,572 Magicka, so I'm getting so much Magicka back when I kill someone. So this is another way we sustain, and it's extremely good. This is your flex spot. I use Pulsar because nowadays there's the health of everyone in PvP is super high. So this is like an instant max health debuff for 33 seconds, and a lot of people in groups that aren't Templars aren't using Purge, so I mean it's just staying on there. And also it's just a skill I can smack out at the very beginning. You can put anything here that you want that fits your playstyle. Just if you wanted a shield on your front bar to be more defensive, that's where it would go. I use this for extra spell damage while slotted. Also, what's pretty cool about this is it gives you health and stamina regen while slotted. Also gives you max Magicka by 8%, and defense, minor physical and spell resistance. So I mean, this skill right here has a huge benefit. Yes, you do have to double bar it, and it's super good. Actually, you have to 3-bar it. I forget about that. And we have Eye of the Flame morph. We want this morph because 1, your targets will be moving. 2, it cannot be negated, and it's super effective with Streak and just blowing people up, man. This is doing so much damage, and then you get them low, proc the Endless Fury, they blow up, they proc the Vicious Death, and then they blow up all their teammates. Also, I forgot to mention, Vicious Death is flame damage, so Dunmer is preferred. on the back bar, this is our defensive bar, our proc bar. We got Magicka Harness, Empowered Ward. I went with Empowered Ward because it really amps up your group's minor intellect, giving them extra regen. It's definitely very good. Healing Word, another defense, all shields. Power Surge for our major buff, along with some healing, which is not bad. And then again, this is has to be on every bar. Then we got the Overload. So on Overload, this is like your prep bar. So basically, when you know they're coming in somewhere, or if you're about to go in and attack, you want to use this as a fluff bar. So you got extra AoE, Boundless Storm, which can proc that disintegration right here. This is your anti-ganker. This skill is amazing. Like, you pop this on, they come in from stealth, and then they just get instant stun. It's super nice. We talked about this, converting stamina into Magicka, and how you can make sure your stamina pool is very good with shards. Proxy Detonation, again, fluff bar, more AoE, more burst potential to proc Vicious Death. Then you have to have this again, down Aegis, and Energy Overload for your ult, so you can swap back and forth. So you just press this ult, and then you change the skills on this bar. So this is very unique to Sorcs. So let's go into how the CP is. Now, obviously, I'm not min-maxed here for PvP. If there's something better, then obviously, if you know it, just go ahead and do it. I use 100 points in Elementals, so my skills hit really hard. I'm using 35 into Elfborn, so that when I crit, I hit pretty dang hard. Especially people that aren't built for PvP, that don't have Impen. Those are the guys you, like the light targets in the back, those are the guys you want to explode. The guys that aren't ready for this kind of damage, that don't have the self-heals, you burst them down with crits, and they blow up their teammates. That's how this build works. Spell Erosion 25, and then Thaumaturge 27. For the red tree, I went a good bit into crit resist, getting the physical damage users off me. Spell damage isn't really, the spells aren't really a problem. Bastion for my shields. I have a lot of shields and quick recovery in case my teammates are healing me, which they should be. Magician, 100 points. We're all using Magicka skills. I have 10 into Warlord because we do use Dark Conversion, and it's already extremely cheap because that's how the morph is. But we just want to make it as cheap as possible because no stam means we're dead. Magicka regen, heavy attacks on your resto bar are really nice, and then tumbling. You always got a dodge roll, break free. So that's the champion points. So basically, this build really shines for multiple targets, extreme amounts of targets, but it's not overpowered because 1, you can heal through it in big groups. 2, people can move out of you. So your team needs to have things to combat that. So they need to have, healing debuff sets or CC like Encase or the OP Negate so they can't even heal. If you have things that go well like that, these two builds shine very well. So you got Fengrush's Dragon Disruptor, and then you got the Infernal Moon build, and those things go together so well. He CCs them, locks them down, negates them, they can't heal, I go in, blow them up. So if you haven't checked out Fengrush's Dragon Disruptor, you definitely should, because these builds go hand in hand. Also, you'll need a Templar in your group to throw shards, maybe even orbs. So you can proc your Moon Dancer, Purify on the ground. Templars also have that, and you're most likely always getting hit with an effect, whether it's a dot, and you can purge it off all the time. So there's 2 to 3 synergies you can keep up, and you can take a synergy every 20 seconds, so you can always keep up your buff. You can tell your team, one simple thing. If you throw it, ask for a shard, and then you get a shard, and your team needs the information. Hey, do you got spell damage or regen? I just usually say regen or spell damage, and that lets them know that I'm either ready to rock, or I've got some regen, so we can wait 20 seconds or pop another synergy, and then we can flip the coin again. It's a 50-50 chance. The food I use, I play with blue Magicka food because I can rely on my team for everything else that I need. If you're having some stand problems, either try purple food or Engine Guardian. That way, when you get the green stamina proc, like I said, you can convert it just like shards into Magicka. It's really nice. So guys, if you do not have Moon Dancer, there is an alternative. Another alternative I like. Lich is a very good backbar alternative. But another one is Amber Plasm, Engine Guardian. So if you're having some... It's the same kind of setup. You use 4-piece armor, or you use 4 pieces Vicious and then the 5-piece. Then on your back bar you have Amber Plasm. You want defending. I just have training right now, and that gives you stam and Magicka recovery. And you can convert the stam recovery and use purple food into Magicka very quickly with this build. All my videos, my hype trailer, and everything you've seen on stream has been with this setup. With Rothgar in there. So you can do really good damage without Moon Dancer, but if you want the highest level of play for damage in a group build, you'll probably need Moon Dancer because it offers the regen and the spell damage. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment below if you have any questions. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I forget, we're using the Thief Munda Stone. I always forget this. Use the Thief. But the reason for that is if we crit, like I said, we're hitting the targets that aren't ready for this kind of damage, that aren't ready for this. They're in big groups. They're relying on their group to heal them, and, give them the defense. If we crit, this build will hit them so hard, and they will crit, and they will blow up their teammates. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I will answer every one of them. Also, if you haven't checked out Fengrush's Dragon Disruptor, I will post the link in the description so that you can check that out and get your group formed for success.